welcome to the Truth Booth for Two. This is Peta and Marie, and we are back.
We are. Good morning, sis.
Good morning.
So, this is going to be a hard one. So, trigger warning, we are going to be talking about drug addiction and recovery.
Yep.
Okay, so do you want to start or do you want me to?
I don't actually know. I'm actually stumped on that. Oh my God. Well, I guess I can start. I was fairly young when I started all my addictions. I've had a few, but never one to booze, which is odd. I really didn't have I mean, I'd drink, I'd go out and party and stuff, but booze was one thing I couldn't walk away from. But I remember when I was younger, I had the first time my mom and I was smoking weed in the basement, and I didn't know my mom was home. And all of a sudden, it's like it was a big bag of homegrown shit. It was crap, you know what I mean? So it wasn't like it was like, oh my God. But anyway, I heard footsteps, and we'd had like 3 joints by this time already. And I went, oh shit, my mom's home. Ran in, and we were in the basement, and I ran and opened the windows, and I tried to get the smell out, you know, and then she comes in, she's like, she goes, what's that? And I said, oh, it's an American cigarette. Right away, like, you know what I mean? I was like, oh, that's an American cigarette, Mom. She goes, yeah, I've smoked American cigarettes, honey. That's not one. And I was like, well, that's what they told me, you know. Anyway, she fucked up. She sat down with my group of friends at the time, and we were doing this. And she's like, well, roll one up. And I sat back. I'm like, I am not falling for this shit. No, we're not having it. And I made her smoke 2 in the circle before I would touch one. So that was my first real interaction with it, was she let me do it. And then ever since then, it was, if you want to smoke drugs or drink alcohol, you do it at home.
Yeah.
And at the time, I thought, well, that was pretty smart. You know, I'm home and I'm safe, but not really, because she's allowing me to do it.
Yeah.
I started my DOC of choice at the age of 16, which was cocaine. And I come home, I was supposed to be home at like 11, and this is with my daughter's dad. I came home I was supposed to be home at 11 that night, and I got home at 11 the next morning.
Ooh.
I was afraid to come to the house stoned still. And I come in the door, and she's like, where you been? And I said, well, I was with Dave and stuff. And she's like, oh, okay. She goes, what were you doing? And I honestly looked at her, and I was like, you don't really want to know. Do you know what I mean? I thought,
yeah.
You don't want to know I was up doing cocaine all night. Like, I don't think you really want to know that. And she's like, well, tell me anyway. And so I told her. And she went, okay, just don't do it again. And walked away. So again, I thought, all right,
It's
no
okay.
problem. You know, I can do this and not get in trouble. You know, right on.
Yeah.
And I was into that fairly heavy until I found out I was pregnant. And then I quit for my pregnancy. And I didn't start again until I was she was born after my 18th birthday, a week. So I think it was probably about 3 months after that. It was about 3 months, yeah, because I was in a nut house for a bit. So I got back into it. And then we started with freebasing. And that's where everything changed for me. And I had this weird ability to do it and go to sleep.
Yeah.
Because I'm ADHD, so when you take something like speed or something like that, I can just like go to sleep.
Yeah.
But I remember, oh my God. So from 18 till 21, I was constant. There wasn't a day that I didn't go without something of the other. I was in school at one point, and I remember me and my girlfriend had our little mirrors in our pocket. I went around, we went around to the back stairs. We go back into class, and my nose starts bleeding like you wouldn't believe. And I'm like, oh my, running to the bathroom. Of course, the teachers knew. They weren't stupid. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I thought, oh, well, nobody's going to notice this. And I had a few moments of like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. Like, when I was, so when just before I found out I was pregnant and I was 17, I remember this one point I went into, I was staying at somebody's house for free. It was kind of like I was homeless for my mom had kicked me out. And so a friend of mine had got me out of this house and he put me up in a hotel. And this is probably a really low point for me and it's kind of embarrassing. But the first thing I did when I hit the hotel was hit the floor looking for rock. And I was like, wait a minute, this is a brand clean room. They've already vacuumed. What the fuck are you doing? But I found something. And I thought, oh, okay, that's awesome. Well, no, it was a piece of fucking cheese. So I know it sounds funny, but I put a piece of cheese in my very perfectly good pipe and ruined my pipe. And I was so upset. And it was after that I found out I was pregnant with my daughter. And like I said, I'd quit. And then again, back to, you know, when I was in school and all that kind of stuff. I remember I had a hard time. Oh no, this is, so we'll go back. Sorry, we'll have to go back a bit. Frick, I just went zero right out of my head. Oh my God. I can't believe that happened. Oh well, we'll just go back to whatever I was going back to. So live and unfiltered.
Yep.
You know, we're not cutting this out.
Nope.
I had the hardest time saying the name Mark. I couldn't say the name Mark. And this was after I had had my son.
Yeah.
It was probably 2 months after he was born. I had thought, well, I'm gonna, you know, go out and party for one last time, blah blah blah. And I came home. This was my moment. And I know a lot of people have very different moments, but my moment was when I got home. Jesse's 2 months old. He's in his bassinet, and he wakes up and looks at me, and he gave me this look of, oh my God, you're gonna be my mother for the next like 18 years. I got to deal with you, and something. It snapped something
Click.
in my head, and I went, I'm not going to be like my mother. No, I can't do this. No, I can't do this. You know, and that's when I started. That's when I started to clean up. I still drank here and there, or I still smoked weed here and there, but I didn't touch that stuff again.
Yeah.
I remember at one point, this was we all have moments of guilt when it comes to this kind of stuff. I had a friend of mine when I was 15. He was one of the people that was in the room with my mom was there. And he had this beautiful car that he had restored from bottom up, stock, beautiful 1965 Mustang, gorgeous car. And he showed up at my house one time, right when I was in the middle of my basing and stuff. And he's like, oh, he says, he came into the garage and I put my hands behind my back, like I was, you know what I mean? I was like, oh my God, what are you doing here? He goes, what are you doing? And I said, don't worry about it. Just smoke your joint. Don't worry about it. He goes, no, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And so I told him. And I still to this day feel guilt for this, but I let him have it.
Yeah.
And he sold everything, including that car.
Oh wow.
To continue his addiction. And that should have been my bottom, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
You know, my bottom was, like I said, with my son. I tried to go to NA meetings for a while. That didn't work. I found that I wanted to use the more I was there because they talk about it so much. So I ended up going to AA for about 7 years.
Yeah.
I didn't drink, I mean, I took, my mouthwash didn't even have alcohol in it. Like, I mean, I went right to that. Thanks, Bubba. But it was pretty tough that way. I was lucky. I didn't have to go to like a rehab or anything like that. It was cold turkey. And it was difficult. You know, I still to this day can't stand the smell of matches.
Yeah.
It's an instant trigger. So now I've got 33 and a half years or so
Ooh.
clean time. And because it was Easter when that whole thing with my son happened. And a few years back, I was still with my second husband. We were in a grocery store, and that's why I find in our intro where it says a trigger in a grocery store,
Yeah.
literally is me. So I was getting my medications, and I have a medication called clonazepam, and that's to help with a panic attack. And I go down, I get my refill, my prescriptions, and I'm waiting to pick them up. And I go down this one aisle with my husband, and this guy says to me, he says, hey. And I said, what? He goes, are you willing to sell your pills? And I went, what? What are you talking about? I don't have anything like that. Like, I'm thinking Percocets and, he goes, no, you're clonazepam. I said, what? No. Like,
Yeah.
I said, I'm not selling those. And he's like, what if I trade you some white stuff? And I went, ooh. I mean, and this is after like 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, I just shouldn't have even come into my head that way. But I did think about it, and I said yes.
Yeah.
So I went to, still had to wait. So I went to the dollar store next door, and I'm down one of the aisles, and I burst into tears in the middle of the dollar store. And my husband's like, what's wrong? I said, I just agreed to take powder, to take cocaine.
Yeah.
Went, oh. And I said, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't go get my meds. He's in there.
Yeah.
And I'm petrified now. My son couldn't go and pick them up. We tried that. Jesse was outside with me, and he was like, well, Mom, we gotta, and I'm like, I can't do it. And so I called inside the pharmacy, and I said, and I explained to them the whole thing. Like, I was honest. I explained the whole thing to them, and they're like, okay, well, if you can come in, come in. And then I noticed the guy was across the parking lot at the liquor store. So so I was lucky he had gone over there. I guess he was going to get some money or pick up, try and get money or whatever.
Yeah.
And I ran into the grocery store, picked up my meds, and I called security at that point and said, and they found him on the security tapes and everything like that. But that was a scary moment for being clean and for 20 something years. And instantly,
Yep.
It doesn't matter where you are, or what you're at, literally in the grocery store one day, it happened to me.
Yeah.
And I've been doing some meetings actually online in the mornings, because I don't like going out and meeting people.
Yeah.
I don't like peopling. So, but yeah, that was my my path for a long time.
Oh.
Oh, and my mom still did it till for her 65th birthday, she was doing that.
Oh, shit.
Oh yeah,
God.
that was her birthday party, 65th birthday party. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it's like it ran in the genes, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And
it's kind of scary.
it usually does.
Yeah.
Run in the family. Like alcoholism, it runs in the family, and
Mhm.
people turn to alcohol and some people turn to drugs. But thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that with us, sis.
Well, my grandmother was an alcoholic. My
Yeah.
mother was an alcoholic and a drug addict, and then
Yeah.
I was a drug addict. So, it's swapped. And now my son, nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm like so happy about that. Not a thing.
Well, he's
And
seen what it did to
so-
you.
yeah, so
Mhm.
I broke that cycle, which was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my path. Oh, that's a lot. Holy, where were you at, sis?
Oh, okay. Well, here we go. Butter up. Buckle up, buttercups. Okay, so
Buckling up.
when I was younger, I really wasn't addicted to anything when I was younger, right? So I would smoke a little bit of weed, and I never drank like you. Alcohol was never my thing. My sperm donor was an alcoholic. Never touched it. Never liked the taste. Hated it. Well, I would smoke weed, and then I went from smoking weed. One of my ex-boyfriends got me onto cocaine. Loved it. Amazing drug.
Oh yeah.
Partied. Had a great time.
Oh yeah.
Well, then me and my friend group, we decided that we were going to go ahead and smoke some meth in my friend's bathtub.
Oh, that'll do it.
I was perfectly fine. The rest of them, they had a bad trip. Running butt naked down the street. Had a bad trip. I was like, okay, well, I don't really care about this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm good. So then I tried heroin for the very first time.
Mm-hmm.
And that feeling, I was like, I want that feeling forever. It was amazing. So I kept going with it. Well, I was kicked out of public school for fighting, getting in trouble, drugs, all of that. So I went to a charter school, got mixed up with a bunch of freaking people, put on probation when I was a kid. Like, I went through a lot of shit. Well, I wasn't deep into it, when I was younger. So it was easy for me to walk away from it. And then I met my husband, got pregnant with our daughter, and then, they prescribe you pills after that. So I was taking them. And then my Jerry, my mother, she was already addicted to pills, right? So she was already addicted. She was already addicted to a lot of shit at the time. I grew up with, you know, making sure that she would get up and be a mother and, you know, injecting her with heroin just so she can get up and move around and be a normal person. Well, I didn't think anything of it. I just trying drugs at the time when I was a kid, perfectly fine. Whatever, move on. Well, I had Desi. I really wasn't into pills at the time, but I would take them for the pain and then I would leave them. And then with Junior, they prescribed me painkillers, take them, leave them. And then I got pregnant with my youngest, Brandon, and that's when my addiction became full force because I was always in pain. Didn't understand why, didn't get it. So I was taking maybe 50 hydrocodones in one day. One day. And
Wow.
it wasn't enough. So I would take more and more and more. And I was a shit mother. Like I had postpartum depression because I just had Bubba and then boom, I found out I was pregnant with Brandon, right? So it was hard. I went through a lot of shit in my brain. And with that, the doctors just kept prescribing me pills. Here's a pill. Here, it was just they were my drug dealers,
Yeah.
basically. And I would get them. And if I couldn't get a refill on my prescription, I would turn to friends or family. And I stole pills from my grandmother. I'm ashamed to even say that, but you know what? That's my recovery that I have to admit that I stole pain pills from my grandmother because I was so addicted. I needed them because if I didn't get them, I felt sick. And,
Yeah.
you know, finally, after that, because Jerry did pass away, she died from a drug overdose. She she killed herself, basically. Well, I went into a deep depression because she was starting to be a mother that I needed in my life. And then she just decided to take that away, right? So I was like, well, what the fuck? Like, why can't you be a mother, but you decided just to take yourself out of this world? Congratulations, Jerry, you did it, you know?
Yeah.
And so I got worse. Well, finally, I looked at my kids and I'm like, they need me. Because if I don't straighten up, I'm going to die. And my husband, we were living up north, and my husband brought me to Phoenix. My drug addiction was so bad, sis, that this guy walked up to me. I was going into a facility. This guy walked up to me because there was a line out the door. He goes, I'm a police officer. I'll take you in the front because you look like you really need the help. He was not a police officer. He was some strange dude on the side, like, just standing there. And so I'm starting to walk off with him, and my husband's like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Mind you, I'm higher than a kite. I don't know what's going on, right? Because I took the last bit of my pills that I had, which was like 100 of them in a bottle, and I'm just taking them one by one, like just eating them on my way down because I did not want to go in sober. But
Yeah.
I knew I was going to feel it the next day. So I'm walking off with this dude, and my husband's like, babe, where are you going? And I was like, this cop said that he's going to take me to the front so I can get in and get the help that I need. And he's like, babe, that's a normal fucking dude. And my husband grabbed me and we left. I literally laid on the couch for 2 weeks, throwing up, cold sweats, like I was sick. And I finally got off of them. But come to find out that all the pain that I was feeling, I had ovarian cancer. So my pain was
Oh, wow.
valid, right? So
Wow. Yeah.
I was covering that pain because I was in so much pain that I actually had ovarian cancer, and I didn't know this until I went to the hospital to get pain pills. I was seeking pain
Right.
pills, and I told my husband, I was like, I'm in pain. And he's like, yeah, whatever. You're just going to get pills. What the fuck ever. You're a drug addict, right? That's how our life was. And so I went in and they actually caught it. And I didn't tell my husband. So
Oh, wow.
I didn't get pills. I was actually in pain. And I actually told them at the hospital, I was like, I don't want morphine, I don't want Dilaudid, I don't want any of that. Don't give me any of that. Let's figure out what's going on, really.
Yeah.
And from then on, I was like, they're like, you have ovarian cancer. And so I started going through chemo by myself. I started going to the doctor's appointments by myself because I didn't want to tell my husband, because I thought this is my punishment for being a shit mom. This is what I
Yeah.
did. So if I end up dying, that's my own fault, right? So I don't
Yeah.
want them to feel what I felt. And so I pushed him away because of it. And then finally one night he's like, "What, are you fucking around on me?" And I'm like, "No." I looked at him straight in his face and I was like, "I have ovarian cancer." And he
Yeah.
lost it. Completely lost it. And I was like, "Wow." You know, drug addiction, you don't feel things, right? You cover it up.
Yeah.
You're covering up the pain that you're going through. You don't feel it. And I needed to work through that. I needed to feel all the pain. I needed to feel, what I was going through, because I didn't fully comprehend what, losing Jerry. I didn't comprehend that. I didn't want to, because I was covering up my pain from losing her with pills. I
Yeah.
was covering up being a shit mom with pills. Like I just wanted, from the time I woke up in the morning, I would take painkillers. And I would take them all day long. And then I
Yeah.
would sleep, and that's how my life was for the longest time. I didn't want to deal with the outside world. I didn't want to deal with it anymore. I didn't want to be a part of it. I didn't nothing. And I wouldn't, at first I wouldn't cook, I wouldn't clean, I wouldn't do anything. Like, I was so bad in my drug addiction that I didn't care.
Yeah.
So my husband had to be the mom and the dad for
Yeah.
maybe about a year and a half, 2 years, because I didn't care. I didn't want to do it. I was so bad depressed that I didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, that when people, and I won't go to meetings like you. I don't like it. They talk about it too much. It makes me want to use. I won't do it. And the thing with it is, if it works for you, do it.
Yeah.
Find something that works for you. But also be careful, because doctors, they do overprescribe painkillers. And
Yes.
doctors are drug dealers,
Yeah.
legal drug dealers.
Yeah.
And I can't stress that enough.
I mean, I'm lucky my doctor does not prescribe anything like that. The highest she'll go is a Tylenol. And it, like, when I found that out, that's when I kept her, because I didn't want to go down that. Just because I was addicted to cocaine doesn't mean I couldn't have very easily touched up on pills or on heroin or meth or any of that.
Yeah.
I was lucky in my addiction, that I was afraid of needles, because I did not know that you could smoke heroin. I thought you only could inject it, and I was petrified of needles, so I didn't touch it. Meth hadn't been out when I was young.
Yeah.
Like, if it was very new, and I didn't know about it. So I was lucky in the aspect of how young I was when I started that. But yeah, I don't take any of that. And my meetings that I go to, they don't talk about specific things like that.
Yeah.
It's more or less just positive stuff. It's the only reason I can go in. If I feel triggered by any way, I can't go in. I no, I gotta leave, and whatever. But yeah, that's hard, sis.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is I'm sober now, which is amazing. I love it. And I will never go back to that, because I love the feeling of being able to control, what's in my possession, and being able to see things clearly, and not going back to that. Because when you're in the middle of a drug addiction, and this is probably for everybody, if you feel this way, you probably know what we're talking about. You're in a hole, and you're trying to dig yourself out, and you're in this dark hole, and you feel like you can't get out of that hole. And it's so hard, because it doesn't feel like anybody's there to help you. And you're trying, and you're trying, and there's no help coming. You have to actually do it yourself. And that's hard to say. And a lot of people are going to be like, oh, well, you're giving advice on, being a drug addict or 12-step programs. No, the fuck we're not. We're telling you
No.
exactly how we dealt with it. And I was in a hole. I couldn't get myself
Yeah.
out. But you know what? I looked at myself in the mirror and didn't like what I seen.
Yeah.
I was
Straight
maybe,
up.
yeah, I was maybe 80 pounds by the time I was in my full blown addiction because I
Yeah.
wasn't eating. And I was dying, literally dying. And we aren't giving you a 12-step program. We're not telling you none of that. We're telling you what we went through. And if what
Yeah.
we went through helps you, great. That's
Yeah.
what we're here for. But
Yeah.
drug addiction is so bad all over right now. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, they've got all these designer ones now, and it's scary. Like, I am so glad I am not in that lifestyle anymore.
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't have to, I had to change my whole friends setup. Like, I got rid of all my old friends. Like, I had to get rid of my dealers. And there was one point, and this is hard. This is a little embarrassing, mind you, but the guy that I used to get my drugs from, him and his wife, there was a deal. I would go to, when he was going to sell, I would go with him because I was the eye candy hanging on. Do you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
I know
Even though
what
he
you
was
mean.
married and stuff, that was the deal me and his wife and him
Yeah.
had made. I could get what I want
Yeah.
as long as I do this. Now,
Yeah.
nothing sexual was involved, I was lucky that way. But I mean, that's selling yourself in a sense. And it was embarrassing to me. I had the piping under your sink.
Yeah.
We had it set up that was where my pipe was the piping under the sink, because if they ever got busted, they wouldn't look in the pipes under the sink. Like, all these creative ways I went through to hide this, or to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wish I had that creativity now. Like, I don't have that now, I'm like, where the fuck's all my ideas, like,
Because
where
you're
am I gonna hide my chocolate, stuff like that goes through my head.
Because you're sober. That's why. You're sober.
I'm sober.
You're
There's
sober
nothing
Peter.
coming in my way, right? Like, it's such a hard thing to come out of that depression. We sit in it, and then it's a constant, what's the word I'm thinking of?
Revolving door.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. So one thing starts, you do this,
Yeah.
and then you go back. This thing starts, and you go back and forth, and you're just in that door.
Yeah.
You're constantly moving in that door, and it's really hard to get out of that door.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I went to AA only because it took me out of the drugs and the because it wasn't NA. It wasn't focused on drugs for me. So I could still take those principles and put them into my life, just swap the drugs for the alcohol kind of thing, and I had to be careful not to take one addiction and then give myself another one. I never drank coffee till I went to AA.
Really?
Now I can't. I gotta have coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I hated it. I freaking hated it. Until I started going to meetings, and everybody goes for coffee after meetings. So
Well, we have
I
a
got used to
caffeine
drinking coffee.
addiction. Caffeine is our addiction now.
Yes. Yes. At least it's legal.
Yeah.
It's not bad for me.
Yeah. But yeah, drug addiction, it's a lot of people have a hard time talking about it because they think, oh, it's embarrassing, or you can be a drug addict and still focus. So
Yes.
you're basically an addict, but you're focusing on what you're supposed to be doing: cleaning, cooking, taking care of your kids, working, all of that. So you're a functioning addict. That's basically what you are. But and until people actually are honest with themselves and be like, hey, I'm addicted to this, or I'm addicted to that, you're never going to get away from that. And that's the thing. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna die on this hill. Doctors are legal.
Yes.
What are they called? Drug dealers. They're legal.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
they overprescribe. And I hope that doctors, that if you do hear this and you are prescribing painkillers and you're overprescribing them, stop your shit. Like, enough is
Pay
enough.
attention to who you're giving these meds to.
Yep. And then
Some of these people don't need them.
no. And then the people that do need them, that go through chemo and all of that, some doctors are like, well, I'm not going to prescribe you that because there's a drug, there's there's all this going on, right?
Mm,
So
yeah.
you wonder why, because they're
Yeah.
overprescribing. So stop doing it. Stop
Yeah.
being the legal drug dealer.
Yeah.
Just stop.
No, yeah. No, that sucks.
Yeah.
I don't like doctors for that.
No, I try not to go. I hate them.
No, I definitely know that about you. Yes.
Yeah, so no doctors for me. And if I do go to a doctor, it's in my chart that I'm a recovering addict. Don't give me shit.
Yeah.
And even
Yeah,
if,
I don't ask for more. I tell them don't. Nothing for the pain. I'm fine.
yeah, and if I go to the
Although
hospital,
we do have Tylenol ones out here that you guys do not.
yeah, no,
So,
I'm good. And if
Yeah.
I go to the hospital and I'm in pain, I don't want anything. I want you to fix the pain. Don't give me painkillers. I'm good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah,
don't do it.
exactly.
But yeah, drug addiction is real, and it's hard to talk about, and we will say this every time before we end our podcast. If you have a problem with drug addiction or anything like that and you want to talk about it, message us. We're here.
Yeah.
We're on all platforms. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Spotify. We are not on TikTok. Can't stress that enough. Not on TikTok. So if you see
No.
a page that says Truth Booth for Two in our picture, it's fake. That's not us. So just beware. But we will always be here and we'll help. If you have a story that you want us to tell or you want to come on and talk about, we will love to have you on our
Yeah.
podcast, because this is real, it's unfiltered, and it's raw. This is life, our life, and we have to say trigger warning because we are talking about drugs. There's cussing.
Yep.
So we hope you enjoy it, and
Yeah.
we will.
Hopefully you learn something
Yeah.
from it.
I mean, we're not giving you a 12-step program. We're not blowing smoke up your ass. This is us. This is
No.
how we dealt with it.
Yeah.
So,
No, that's amazing.
yeah.
I'm glad we could talk about it.
Yeah. And our podcast is going to get deeper and deeper, and then it'll be lighter and lighter, and then deeper and deeper. So that's life.
We'll go back and forth.
Yep, that's our life. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad that we talked about that and let that out. But
Yes.
all right.
No, there's no shame involved in that. So don't feel shame. Don't, none of that. Just come
Matt?
and say hi. Leave a comment.
Yep.
Whichever, if you need to talk, we're here.
Yeah, and don't feel ashamed that you are. If you're struggling with addiction, don't feel ashamed about it. We will help you, and there's lots of programs that you can get into, and we will help you look for them if that's what you need. But we are not professionals. We are just two normal mothers, wives, telling our side of how we became sober and, our life now. You can do it. Anybody can do it. So we hope you smile and have a great day and be kind.
Yeah. Be kind to each other.
Yeah. So
Okay.
thank you for joining our podcast. We will see you later. Bye.
Okay. Bye.